but intensity-wise, I still brought it, man.
Yeah.
That was the thing is, with me and Johnny, I remember there was days we came into the gym like, hey, man, we're gonna cut back a little bit today. It never happened. Never happened.
Yeah, you're planning it out, trying to be all smart.
Yeah.
What do you got, Andrew?
You guys had touched on it like just very briefly, but like I was telling you before the show, when I was telling some like friends and family, like, dude, we're gonna have Branch Warren on. They're like, dude, that rings a bell. I'm like, you watched Generation Iron, right? It's like, yeah, the dude that got bucked off the horse. Like, oh yeah, that's the guy. But I had heard that you kind of had told the camera crew, like, hey, like, give my horse some space, and then they ended up kind of messing with the horse again. But that was all here, like, someone else's story. So what exactly happened?
Well, man, they came to my house, and because we have horses there, I've got 4 horses, and they wanted to get a scene of me in front of my house. I've got a pond in front of the house, and riding the horse and do a little interview there. So I've had this horse for a long time, and usually I can whistle and he'll come to me, and no big deal. Well, you've got I don't know, 12 people in this camera crew. They've got their cameras and their microphones, the big boom mics with the fuzzy thing on it, and they came around there, and I'm trying to catch him, and I couldn't even catch him. He was not digging all that, and he's running around, wouldn't let me catch him, freaked out. And anybody that has horses, they're like like a dog. You have a dog for 10 years, you get to know your dog. You know when something's wrong with him and something ain't. And so I told him, I was like, oh, you guys need to go around the other side of the building, stay out of sight, and don't come back over here. I need to calm him down. It took like 20 minutes to get him calmed down and chilled. I finally caught him and saddled him, walked him around for a little bit, and got on him, rode him around in the pen. And I came out, and they all came back up, and he started freaking out. So I said, hey, guys, I told you, stay back. I said, the cameraman and the producer, you can come. We'll go up here, we'll do this interview. And I said, that's it. And I said, you guys got to stay back because I don't want to get thrown. Because I'm like, 5 weeks from Olympia. Shit. I just won the Arnold Classic, and I just suffered a potentially career-ending quad tear before the Arnold Classic. I came back 6 months later, won it.
Shit.
And, so I was in really good shape and looking to, I just missed the prior Olympia because I was out with a torn quad. So I had high expectations. I just gotten second, third at the previous 2 Olympias. So we're there, and this dude comes up with that freaking boom mic thing and spooks the horse, man. And we have a little rodeo, and I'm kind of trotting him back to the house, and he's still, jumpy, and he bucks a little bit, and I wasn't expecting it, and got thrown. Shit. And landed on the concrete head first. So not cool, man. I think I tore my groin.
Yeah, could have been worse.
Cracked my head, and it could have been worse, and I was not happy. And,
yeah, you get thrown. I mean, the horses are fucking high up too,
horses,
and they buck you off.
That horse is, he's 16'3" hands. Anybody knows anything about horses, so he's a big horse.
Yeah.
And I can barely get on him. He's so big, and
you probably fell from what, 8 feet, 10 feet, so, somewhere in that range.
So and I
that's
was
that's a long way down, especially to land on fucking concrete when you're thrown too.
So you see, the next day when I'm in the gym, I'm training, and I'm like going off on the guy to get out of my face, because that same guy I told, man, don't set up the camera right in front of my face, and what does he do? He gets right in my face.
Oh, shit.
So I was done with him, and I asked the producer, and
hit the restroom real quick.
So
keep firing questions.
Yeah.
So I told the producer after that happened, the horse incident, I said, hey, man, I'd appreciate, I did get injured, and it's affected my training for the Olympia. I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't put that in the film. And he assured me he wouldn't. I asked him twice. He assured me it wouldn't do it. And he puts it in the film. And he wouldn't even tell me until I went to the premiere in New York. He sent somebody else over
to break the news
the news to me before I see it on the screen.
Yeah.
And to this day, he still wouldn't talk to me about it. So
shit. So like, other than that bullshit happening, have you gotten like a positive response from fans because of the documentary?
Yeah, the overall, I think that first generation I we were all in.
Yeah.
It's I think it was the first bodybuilding documentary probably since Pumping Iron hit the big screen.
Yeah.
We had premieres. I went to the premiere in Australia, New York, LA, and Hollywood. I think it did very well. And I remember shortly after it came out, I was getting, I was one of the top guys at the time,
right.
And pretty well known. After that movie came out, I think my popularity and recognition went skyrocketed.
Yeah.
So it was good. I thought it was done in a other than my issues I had with the previous
Yeah.
incident, it showed the hard work. It showed that, hey, we have lives. Some of us have families, and and it showed the struggles. Some of the guys, Hide and Ruli, these guys were trying to make it to the top.
Yeah.
And if they failed to qualify for the Olympia, that's a bad thing. If you're on the cusp, contracts and sponsorships are on the line, and it's I think it showed a lot of the human side of the sport.
Yeah.
Because for the general public, they just see these big muscular dudes on stage and they're nowhere flexing.
Right.
So I think
They just accredit it all to steroids.
that's it.
and-
And
Yeah.
that's actually very small percentage of what the whole thing is.
Yeah. So then if I don't mean to set you up with this question, but like if we were to take steroids out of the equation completely, how big can people get?
If you take, like I used to tell people, I've been asked that question before.
Yeah.
You take steroids, take all drugs out, you're going to have the same top 10 guys at the Olympia. They're just not going to weigh as much.
Right.
Because if you got it, you got it. If you ain't got it, no drug's going to give it to you.
Yeah.
So you take all the drugs away. Those same top 10 guys are going to have the same discipline, same genetics, same work ethic, same drive.
Yeah.
They're still going to get there. They're still going to be the same top 10 guys. So that's the difference.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think if you were to try to put like a number on it in terms of how much body weight it would be, I think it's actually a smaller amount than people might think. It's probably like 20 or 30 pounds.
That's the exact number I was about to say, 20 to 30 pounds.
Yeah, because
So,
I've kind of always said like, hey, you know what, if somebody's and who really cares at this point, but if somebody's over 220 and they're under 10% body fat, you can start to kind of wonder.
Yeah.
It's not impossible, but a lot of times that's the case. It's just hard for your body to hold that kind of size without some enhancement. But some of the things they've done for me over the years, like, I remember I deadlifted 633 at 198 in a competition, and I was like 23 or so. Making that 198 was not easy. But I mean, that was first of all, it was a million years ago, and secondly, that was before I ever took anything. When I started to take stuff at my strongest in a suit, I ended up deadlifting 766, but I weighed like 308, or maybe I was even super heavy for that meet. I can't remember. And the numbers, sounds quite a bit different, right? It's it's over 100 pounds, but it's also over a decade of training, so they don't do everything that people think they do. The main thing that they do is they add size to you, which I think
what they do is they increase
then
your
adds-
recovery ability. That's all they do.
right.
Okay, you can take drugs all day long, guys. You ain't going to look like I did. Okay, okay, that's not no magic pill. Okay, all it does is it increases your protein syntheses, which increases your ability to recover. Okay, that recovery ability gets negated if you don't eat properly, feed yourself enough protein, enough carbohydrates, if you don't sleep, and you don't recover, if you don't train. So if you don't train hard enough to stimulate muscle growth, you're not going to grow, whether you're taking a drug or not. If you don't eat correctly, you're not going to have the nutrients to repair and recover, and if you don't sleep. So that's all they do. So